do this. All right, welcome everyone to Senate Education. Nearing the end. Sure, the budget has been signed, and certainly those of us, or anybody who's been around, that is a signal that things are coming to an end. S-191, an act relating to new American educational grant opportunities. We've had a walkthrough of this. There were some initial concerns out there with the new language. I think since then, people have had conversations with, at least I've had conversations with the University of Vermont and state colleges that the language that's connected to them in this bill is already happening. But they're fine with it being in, and we have former Representative Tom Little, General Counsel for VSAC, in with us to take us through, and I believe, Mr. Little, you too, I don't want words in your mouth, are going to give us the green light as far as you're concerned. So we, at this point, I would say we may need to either concur or quickly call a committee of conference. So with that, Mr. Little, please tell us your thoughts.
Thank you. Tom Little from Vermont Student Assistance Corporation. I'll refer to a memo I delivered to the committee dated May 3 last Friday that are my comments on the VSAC sections of the House passed version of S-191. There's three changes from the House. One is to the incentive grant piece, and another is to the advancement grant piece. In both cases, in the Senate bill that you wrote, you amended, the drafting used a cross-reference to some CCV federal immigration statuses that were incorporated by reference into S-191. On the House side, in the House Committee on Education, Legislative Council recommended that the cross-reference be removed and that the full text of those CCV statute provisions be set forth at length in the bill so that somebody, when they were reading them, wouldn't have to try to flip back and find the CCV statute. The House made no other changes to the incentive grant and the advancement grant sections of S-191 as passed by the Senate. House then added a new section to the VSAC chapter, new section 2828, providing and in a more general way that residents who were otherwise eligible for a state-funded financial aid program administered by VSAC will not be ineligible solely on the basis of their immigration status. So if the person is a resident qualified for the benefits that are restricted to residents of the state, the fact that they may have one type of federal immigration status or not will not be determined. And VSAC supports that change as well as the first two I discussed with you. So I'll stop there. I think these are good changes. They're consistent with what this committee did when it passed the bill and what the Senate agreed with the committee.
And any questions from Mr. Little?
Yeah, can you share a bit more as to why you support this? The third part.
Okay, so this is, I guess, in section 3 now of the House passed bill. It's essentially what VSAC is already doing. And I guess this gives us some structure in statute, to support that. So, and it also contains a reporting provision that will have us track the impact on the affected students. So in a sense, it's consistent with what VSAC is already doing and as you say, the philosophy of implementing our financial aid programs.
Go ahead, Mr. Ritchie.
So I guess just to follow up to that, if it's what VSAC is already doing, aside from the reporting component, why does it benefit VSAC or schools to have it in statute as well?
I think it's an affirmative statement of policy. And this was not VSAC's proposal to the House Committee on Education. This came from others. But I said VSAC supports it. VSAC certainly doesn't object to it.
Yeah, Representative Lowell, you've said 4 or 5 times this is already what VSAC's doing. What is VSAC doing? Can you just take a moment and just
Sure.
articulate that?
If someone has established Vermont residency, which generally means 12 months of residency, and that the person did not move here for the sole purpose of getting educational benefits, of getting in-state tuition, for example, and that policy is parallel to the one's resident policy that UVM and the Vermont State University use, is that if you move here just to go to UVM, you cannot use the time you're here to establish the 12 months. And VSAC uses the same thing for eligibility for the incentive grant program. I'm not sure this goes beyond my knowledge and expertise to what extent the VSAC people who day-to-day administer this have ever looked at federal immigration status. Where that sometimes can come into play, and why I believe this is a section that doesn't go into effect until a year from July 1, is that if somebody VSAC has always tried to have the VSAC State of Vermont grant be the last money in. So if we generally require someone to apply for a federal Pell Grant and any other institutional aid at the college they're going to. And then VSAC can supplement that with the Vermont grant. If the person who has established Vermont residency, but whose federal immigration status under federal law is such that, for example, they don't have a social security number. I believe there is a way to apply for a federal Pell Grant without a social security number. I don't know what that process looks like. So could have somebody bring you that in testimony or in writing. But what this language is saying is that the immigration status won't affect their eligibility for the Vermont grant. Keep in mind that we've been working on this for 2 years, 3 years now with the incentive grant already as a piggyback on the bill that was passed 2 years ago for the community college system. And the numbers that VSAC has seen in that have been very, very small. We don't have a lot of data to know, to base judgment on about does this work or how well does it work. But I think this is an appropriate provision in state statute. And we don't object.
So I get the 12-month residency bit. That's what you're referring to as far as what you've already,
Yeah.
what you're currently doing. The immigration status. if that's what you're doing now, I'll respect that, but that's, as a change to, as an amendment to a bill, I'm gonna stay away from that. I'm not gonna support, I'm just gonna, happy to let, you three take the vote and carry the conversation before, but I still think that the immigration status is a relevant bit of how to apply, state treasury and.
Senator Weeks?
Yeah, so I'll be the bad guy here. You know what, if they're here, and it's against our constitutional law, that they're here. I don't think it's fair that the taxpayers of the state of Vermont, the United States, it's federal money, should be given to people to come here to go to college. You know, my kids might not necessarily be able to go. I have a problem with the whole thing. So I don't blame VSAC, it's not their fault. But, and we, I'd like to know what law gives them the authority to use Vermont taxpayer money to fund grants for people that are here illegally.
Which part of the Constitution are you
I
saying?
don't know. That's what I wanna know. Tell me, if you can show me where it's legal to be there, then I know what part to get amended.
Yeah, the 14th Amendment is a good place to start. There's 25 other states that already do this. So, when you look at public benefits, you can't create residency requirements on that. So that's one place to
They're
start.
here illegal. They didn't come through the border with, they don't have a social security number. They're not even involved in trying to become a citizen. I just don't support it. So, and I'm only one note, so. The record is not supporting.
Yeah, let me just, we can just chime in. The original bill, okay, we worked on that for several months. Well done. Okay, we give and take, we talk. I'm just not gonna go, step further with the amendment. You guys support the amendment, support it on the floor, go for it. It's fine. Just, you're hearing just a little bit of pushback on immigration status. We can agree to disagree and then carry on. But the original bill, I gotta hand it to you. You handled that very well.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, I'm not trying to convince you or persuade you one way or the other.
So I think on a straw poll vote, Senator Jewett passed me a note that she was a yes, so I think it'll be 3-2. Unless you're gonna change your mind.
No, I think I'll go yes.
Okay, and
Thanks, Judge.
I will, thank you for your comments, thoughtful. And I will let Pro Tem know that we'll do it tomorrow. So it's up.
Doesn't have to, it's on notice today. Yeah.
Well, it was up today.
Oh, right.
We just passed it over so we could have this conversation. Mr. Wilk, do you want to comment at all in terms of the other pieces that you heard, Senator Weeks or Williams comment on, any feedback or any thoughts? I don't want to shut down the debate or
I don't want
any
to
conversation.
pretend like I know more than I do. I do know that there, to use the term, using the term federal immigration status requirements, and legal or illegal status can be complicated because there's not a monolithic or sole type of immigration status. And those who are here under an asylum program, I think, are in one distinct subcategory. There may be others who are here and have applied for immigration approval status of one sort or another, but don't have it yet because there's apparently a real significant backlog. And then I suppose there are those who are completely off the grid and off the radar. I don't know whether those persons would be likely to be applying for federal and state financial aid programs and sort of putting themselves out there on the record as being present. Just don't know.
Yeah.
So we did a deep dive on different types of statuses for
Yeah.
asylees and immigrants, people that were here because they were persecuted.
Yeah.
And we did a good job and came back to the house different.
Yeah.
So that basically everybody gets. I don't know if it's because we need the students. continue with our education process. But I still don't split.
Thanks for the opportunity to view it.
Okay.
Good luck winding things up.
What's that?
Good luck winding things up.
Thank you.
What'd you say? You miss it?
Yeah.
Speak up. I miss parts of that.
Why don't, Ms. St. James, we have Mr. O'Grady next.
Oh, okay.
If he comes in, I believe he's next, right? At least on the agenda. Oh, I think we're good on S 191.
Okay.
Yeah, so now we just are waiting on Mr. O'Grady,
Okay,
and then we'll go to literacy.
okay.
We just need to, we can go walk, Morgan.